Right, so let's say that I wanted to find out a tangent, the equation for tangent to this circle. We'll go at the same point. Let's say we want an equation for the tangent of the circle at at 2.2. Well, actually, it's a bit of that's going to be a weird one, isn't it, to pick. Let's say that it's going to be wherever the x value is 1. Okay, so the tangent here. All right. Now we want a precise value for y, so we don't want to just be guessing, and you might even have to do a question where you can't see the graph anyway. So let's all we're going to pretend we know. We'll go with as little information as possible. We know that the equation of this graph is x squared plus y squared is equal to 9. Remember, 3 squared is 9. And we want to find the equation for the tangent at x equals 1. Okay, so this point here, so the x coordinate is 1. What's the y coordinate? Well, how do we work that out? We just take this equation and we rearrange it. We have the value for x, so rearranging the equation, we'd say that I'm just going to do it all in one go. We've got y is going to be equal to the square root of 9 minus x squared. Okay, what I did is I minus the x squared, give me 9 minus x squared, and then I square rooted both sides. So because we know that in this case it's 1, then it's going to be 9 minus 1 squared, which is 1, which is the square root of 8. So we're going to leave it as a surd. If you want to do a bit of surd practice, maybe you can pause the video and see if you can simplify that surd. So hopefully you've noticed that 8 can be divided by a square number, 4. So that's going to be the same as 2. Let's do it the other way around actually. Do 4 times 2, which is the same as 4 root 4 times root 2, which is 2 root 2. You can always type in root 8 onto your scientific calculator and it should give you 2 root 2. So then you know what it is. So now we can say in the coordinate, we'll leave it as a surd, is 2 root 2. Okay, I might just, let's lock that. Might just make that a bit thin if I can. Okay. Okay, so 2 root 2. So we're trying to produce a tangent to the circle at that point. Well, can we? First of all, we want to. The reason why I talk about perpendicular lines to start off with is because we want to first of all work out what would be the equation for the line from the center to that point that we're going to do a tangent. Because why am I doing this? Well, the tangent to this, I'm not going to be able to do this properly, am I? Let's see, the tangent to the circle would be perpendicular to that line from the center. Okay, so the action plan is to find out what the equation is from the center to that point there, and from there work out what the what would be the perpendicular line that to this line from the center. So you might actually be able to do some of those, maybe all those steps, based on what we did in the first video. So what I'd probably suggest is you pause the video here and do what you can on your own from this point. You may be able to completely work out what the equation for the tangent is, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out the equation for this line, then I'm going to work out the equation for the tangent. So what I would suggest you do is pause it, play it whenever you get stuck, and then you'll see the first few steps. So I'm going to go ahead now and work out the equation for this first line from the center point. Of course, it really should be extending off to the edge of the page, really, to the edge of the graph. So I know that we've got 2 points on this line here. Let's use different colors so I can refer to them. So on the orange line from the center point, we've got 2 coordinates because it's going to go through the origin. And so we've got because it's going to go through the origin, we know that y equals mx plus c. Let's make this text orange so we can follow what's going on. So I'm talking about the orange line here, and that's gonna let's pick an orange color here. We don't have a c. Well, c is 0, so this is just going to be equals y equals mx. So and we're not going to use this coordinate because it's going to be useless to help us with that, because it's going to have 0 is equal to 0 times m. Obviously that's going to be the case. It's not going to help us to work out what m is. We're going to use this coordinate. So we've got y, which is 2 root 2, and that's going to be equal to m times 1, which is just m. So we already have the gradient. We got the m value. So therefore, what the gradient, the equation for this orange line is y is equal to 2 root 2 multiplied by x. Okay, so that's the equation for the orange line. Again, if that was the bit where you got stuck, I'd pause it here and see if you can use that to work out the equation for the green line. But if you want to keep watching, then I'm going to now do the equation for the green line. We know that it's perpendicular to the orange line. Right, let's not forget it's perpendicular. That's why I talked about perpendicular lines earlier on. So that's the m value for this one. Remember, the gradient for a perpendicular line is the negative reciprocal of the gradient of the original line. So that's going to be -1 over 2 root 2. A little bit of surd practice. Let's try to simplify that surd, shall we? So essentially what we're doing is rationalizing the denominator, right? So what you're going to do that is multiply it by 2 over root 2, which we're allowed to do because 2 over root 2 is just 1. So when you multiply anything by 1, you're not changing it. And that gives the top value just to be negative root 2. The bottom value, well, we've got root 2 times root 2 is just going to be 2. Multiplied by the original 2 gives me 4. So the gradient of the reciprocal line, the green line, would be negative root 2 over 4. We could also write that negative 1/4 root 2 if we like. Either one is fine. So that means that the gradient is going to be y is equal to, sorry, the equation for the line is going to be y is equal to negative 1/4 root 2 multiplied by x plus c. We do have a c value here because it's not going through the origin. So we need to now work out the c value. How would we do that? Well, we have the coordinate, remember, that which we use to work out the equation for the orange line. We can do the same to finish working out the equation for the tangent. So we have an equation, sorry, we have a value for y, which is 2 root 2, and that's going to be equal to negative 1/4 root 2 times 1. X is 1 plus c. So we're going to add all of this to the left hand side. So we've got 2 root 2 plus 1/4 root 2 is equal to c. We're going to take out a factor of root 2. That seems to make sense, doesn't it? So root 2 multiplied by 2 plus 1/4 is equal to c. 2 plus a quarter is, let's say, do it in decimals, 2.25. So therefore, the c value is going to be equal to 2.25 root 2. Okay, so on these, I couldn't work out an easy way to do root symbols there, but essentially on the software that I'm going to demonstrate, but essentially we've got 1/4 root 2 multiplied by x plus let's do okay 2.25 root 2. So that's the equation for the tangent. Now if you tap that into your calculator and look at it in terms of the decimal, rounding up to 4 significant figures, you get that, and 2.25 times root 2 to 4 significant figures is that. So when we put that onto our graph, as you can see, it is a tangent at, well, not quite at 1, obviously, because I've rounded up. Okay, so if I keep rounding up, then the coordinates will be closer and closer to 1 there. So that is how to do an equation of a tangent. One of the harder things that you're going to get to do in maths, we do have down here a bunch of questions on the equation of a tangent. So as you can see, they are working out they've helped you out by putting the line from the center point first. Just skipping ahead, they're pretty much all there. Yeah. So question 9 looks a bit trickier, but then you got the areas. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be. If you can do what we've just done there, you should be able to do all those questions, and the answers are there. But if you do get stuck on any of these questions, just send me a message, and I can make a short video on how to do any particular question here that you've got, or any other question for that matter, on anything. Yeah. So. Okay, hope that was useful, and I'll stop there and save the video right there.